What happens when a Chinese tourist decides that the international airport is the optimal place to go full Hulk smash? The train operator involved in a recent deadly accident ends up testing positive. And on top of it all, an Indian tourist decides that internet clout is much more important than not spending time in a Thai prison. Let's get weird. How's it going? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to yet another episode of Elite Level Journalism, where we dive into the wildest stories coming out of Thailand this week, brought to you by probably the most unqualified journalist who actually probably reads at like a 6th grade level. Me. Yeah, it's me. But I'll tell you what, if you're ever feeling like you are not the smartest person in the world, an easy, quick fix is to jump online and see what some other tourists are getting into in the kingdom. And I'll tell you what, in that regard, today's stories do not disappoint. And make sure you stick it out for the whole video because these stories just get more and more unhinged as we go. So let's get into our first one. A Chinese man ends up blacklisted for aggressive behavior at Bangkok airport. The Thai Immigration Bureau blacklisted a Chinese man after he damaged an automated immigration gate and verbally abused officers at Suvarnabhumi International Airport in Bangkok. Police responded to the incident at around 2:35 on Wednesday, May 13th at an immigration checkpoint in Departure Zone 2. Officers at the scene reported that a foreign passenger damaged property and behaved aggressively towards immigration personnel. Suspect was later identified as Li Wei Zhang, a Chinese national around 30 years old, according to police. Witness statements as well as CCTV footage reportedly showed Li Wei approaching an automatic border control gate and placing his boarding pass on the scanner instead of his passport. Because of the incorrect document, of course, the gate did not open. Chinese man then became frustrated and kicked the gate before moving to another gate. At the second gate, Li Wei reportedly scanned his passport incorrectly, causing the system to reject the document again. Li Wei then kicked the gate open and entered the checkpoint area without completing immigration procedures. Airport security officers then intervened and detained him shortly afterwards. Li Wei reportedly became increasingly aggressive during the detainment and insulted officers in both English and Chinese. He also attempted to physically confront officers before his wife stepped in to calm the situation. I'll tell you what, I completely understand being a little bit frustrated with those like automated exit gates. That's the thing too, this guy wasn't coming into Thailand, he was already on his way leaving and still ended up blacklisted. But with those gates, I get it, they rarely ever work for me. The only time it has ever worked was this last trip when we went to Vietnam, but even if it doesn't work, it's not a huge deal. There's an officer right there that you can go over and just do the same thing with them. So yeah, probably not the ideal place to go, full Hulk smash and start breaking stuff and screaming at officers. It's an international airport. It's not like there is a shortage of police around. This guy really looked at this, automatic system and said, you know what? No. This also got him a permanent blacklist, which is pretty wild. I completely understand and I agree with it. But, going through these stories, I've seen a lot of people, especially foreigners getting in trouble. And then, of course, immigration is going to end up not wanting you to come back to the country. And I've seen some pretty extensive things that people get in trouble for and they'll get banned for 1, 3, 5 years. So a lifetime ban is, that's a doozy.
Well, when life gives you lemons.
And yet somehow, this isn't the most wild, the most what the hell are you doing situation in regards to this week at Suvarnabhumi Airport. Go figure. 251 live wild animals found hidden in Malaysian man's suitcase. Thai authorities arrested a Malaysian national at Suvarnabhumi International Airport yesterday, May 24th, after attempting to smuggle hundreds of live wild animals out of Thailand. Authorities inspected a suspicious passenger near boarding gate F3 in Zone 3 of the International Departures Terminal. The suspect was identified as 34-year-old Malaysian national Dasmon Kong Sing Che. During a baggage inspection, officers discovered numerous live wild animals hidden inside the suspect's suitcase. The seized animals included 2 helmeted hornbills, 2 Patagonian maras, 62 iguanas, 5 monitor lizards, 100 blue-tongued skinks, and 80 turtles. The Malaysian national was then transferred to Suvarnabhumi Airport police station for legal proceedings. The rescued animals are now under the care of the Wildlife Conservation Office, while investigators continue efforts to identify additional suspects connected to the trafficking network. Could you imagine, you're just sitting at the gate, doing your thing, waiting for your flight, drinking your coffee, and then the lady sits down next to you, and all of a sudden it smells like low tide. It smells like turtles. You think maybe she just, missed a shower today. I get it. Or, airport can be a little stressful. People get a little bit funky. And then come to find out, no, it's because she actually has 30 turtles strapped to her body. Sounded like Buddy was trying to build some type of video game inventory. Man, this is not Pokemon Red. You don't have to catch them all. I really just can't stop thinking about these officers doing these checks. I'm sure the vast majority of the time you're just kind of going through the motions. Yeah, you can't take this bottle of shampoo, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden you open a bag and then you're fighting off a monkey or a cobra or something. I'm not sure you could pay me enough. Now, before we roll into our next story, of course, we like to have fun here, but at the same time, this is elite level journalism. So we have to report on the things that matter. If you do keep up with Thailand news, a couple weeks ago, there was a terrible accident here in Bangkok where a train ended up hitting a passenger bus, and a lot of people unfortunately lost their lives. And then understandably, there were questions to be asked. And one of the first people that, investigators wanted to approach and ask what happened was the train driver. And then come to find out, there was more to the story. Train driver tested positive for illicit substances and driving without a license. Police confirmed the train driver tested positive for illicit substances and was operating without a license after the collision between a container train and a public bus on Saturday, May 16th. A container train struck a public bus after the bus became stuck at a red light on the tracks. The impact triggered a major fire, resulting in 8 casualties and more than 30 injured. Understandably, the crash prompted widespread discussion on social media, with some blaming the bus driver for stopping on the tracks, while others questioned why the train failed to stop after the obstruction became visible. According to the Ministry of Transport, data from the train's black box showed the driver applied the emergency brake about 100 meters before the bus, which was insufficient to prevent the crash. Investigators stated that the train should have begun emergency braking at least 2 kilometers before reaching the obstruction. Makassar police station officers said on May 17th that the driver, identified as Samyongporn Sornkul, tested positive for the illegal substances. Another railway officer at the station tested negative. So me hearing that this guy not only tested positive, but was driving without a license kind of just blows my mind, because some of you guys may know I used to drive 18-wheelers in America, and of course it's America, it's going to be different than Thailand, but at least in America, to operate those big vehicles, you get randomly drug tested all the time. It's, your company will do it. The Department of Transportation will also do it. And of course, if you end up losing your license, you are not going to be driving. And in America, driving trains is even a level above that. It's even more scrutiny. Not only is it super dangerous, but of course, trains carry a lot of cargo, very expensive stuff. So it's important that you're on top of what you should be doing. So hopefully this leads to some reforms. Hopefully officials can, go through and say, hey, yeah, this is not going to work. We need to make sure these guys are all good to go so something like this doesn't happen again. It's nice to know that some people, involved in this will get answers, but we'll have to see where it goes from here. If you have spent some time in Thailand, you probably know that traffic is already hectic. And, in all reality, when you go out on the roads, you kind of are just shooting the dice a little bit every single time. And I could not imagine how I would feel if I got on, some public transportation and I look up at the driver and he's, been apparently hitting the Heisenberg special. There's been a couple times when I have, taken some rides in places and I was kind of side-eyeing the driver, but me, I don't care. I will stop. I will find another way. If you ever encounter anything like that, please, for the love of God, do the same thing.
That's my bad. I was sending a tweet.
Now, if you're here and you may be new to this series, every week when we cover the wildest stories coming out of Thailand, we like to hand out our Dum Dum of the Week award. An award not only intended to recognize, but also showcase the most what the hell were you thinking moments. And I gotta say, when it comes to this next story, this might very well be up in the top for the greatest of all time discussion. This somewhat new modern disease where so many people feel like every single thing needs to be content. Everything you do or have or say is an opportunity to go viral, and if you don't share it, you are doing yourself a disservice. Weapon videos lead police to Indian man with illegal substances on Koh Phangan. Police arrested an Indian man on Koh Phangan yesterday, May 23rd, after videos showed a foreigner posing with weapons and practicing shootings, with officers later finding illegal substances as well as price lists on his phone for said substances. The suspect, identified as 33-year-old Shalbil Kunan Valapi, I think I actually nailed that, was arrested at a residence in Koh Phangan District, Surat Thani. Officers said the arrest followed a May 13 operation targeting foreign-run businesses allegedly using Thai nominees on Koh Phangan. Residents later reported a foreigner allegedly gathering with others selling illegal substances near a durian orchard in Ban Thai and regularly firing weapons near his accommodation. The suspect reportedly tried to run away when police identified themselves, but was quickly detained. A search allegedly found 9 bags of substances in his left trouser pocket, along with an aluminum tube and a small metal tool hidden in a pink bag. Vague description is very vague. Investigators said the Indian man appeared to have an interest in firearms. You think? I would agree. That's an astute observation. Officers also found signs of shooting practice, including spent cartridges and shooting targets. A check of Shabil Kunan's mobile phone allegedly found images listing several types of illegal substances with clear prices. Police believe this supported allegations that he was involved in selling them in the Koh Samui area. If you don't know, Thailand is not like America when it comes to personal weapons. They are highly regulated here. From what I understand, it is possible for citizens to get them, although, you know, it's nothing like America. So I think, from what I understand too, I did try to read up on the situation for foreigners owning them, but from everything I could find, granted I'm not a lawyer, I think it's pretty much illegal entirely to own any type. And as you've probably seen in some of these photos, it seemed like this dude had some pretty serious firepower. And then when it comes to the, substance distribution, this sounds like a pretty clear slam dunk. There's nothing, quite like a ring light in the hopes of reaching 1 million subscribers that just, for some people, just kind of completely shuts down their frontal cortex. Now, I'm not preaching by any means. There has been some situations and some things that I saw content before anything else, and it ended up not being good. We'll just say that. I don't know what it is, but I find so much joy when people get arrested for things that are just obviously very illegal, and then you come to find out, well, how did the police know about this? Did somebody tell on them? Did a neighbor report them? No, they were posting the videos on their Snapchat, their Facebook, whatever. Man, come on now. But I want to hear from you. What's the best one that you've seen? The best situation of somebody just blatantly telling on themselves, especially when it comes to social media or something, trying to look cool, trying to get some likes. A big one in America is people posing with weapons when they are, felons or something, and they're not supposed to have them, and then they're posting them on their Instagram. It's just like, wow, that is low IQ activity, to say the least. If you did make it this far in the video, thank you so much for hanging out. And if you enjoyed, you would like to see future videos when we post them, you know what to do. Everybody says it. Everybody knows how this platform works at this point. And if you do, I would appreciate it, man. Thank you. I will see you in the next video. Hope you have a great day.